This video is again entirely my opinion, and I don't fault anyone for stunning any group I mention here. These are just my personal considerations when choosing to avoid stunning a group and committing time and money to them. I don't claim to be correct, and as always, I'm willing to have discussions. And without further ado, let the gapping session begin. I'd like to get this off my chest. I am totally of the opinion BTS have some of the best music K-pop has to offer. With an insanely iconic catalog and their run during their prime with the Love Yourself albums and Map of the Soul albums to some extent, is exemplary marketing and concept, coupled with good music. But I think they have become totally inconsistent in terms of music quality, and it is hard to even be sure you like their next release if you're a casual, since they've been extremely inconsistent. Life Goes On is a snoozer, and Dynamite has been talked about enough on every platform imaginable, so I don't want to repeat all of that, but yes, it is a solace pop song that could be sung by anyone and isn't unique to BTS. This applies to Version to Dance and Butter as well. Birth had yet to come as its lead single, and that is another snoozer. That marks 2 albums in a row with bad lead singles. That also came after a lead single with Halsey, which had a bit more personality and is salvaged by Black Swan being incredible. But what I'm getting at is that as of right now, being a BTS fan just seems like hoping worse than being a Blackpink fan, and they don't even release music. And I'm excluding their solo stuff when I'm having this discussion about BTS group music. I'm sure a lot of people like BTS for their members, and that's valid. I too stan itzy despite not liking all of their releases because of their members. But well, itzy doesn't have fans who will actively find your address and ruin your life if you dislike a release. This is my ultimate reason to never ever stan BTS. Their fans are insufferable. And if you've been in K-pop spaces for more than 1 minute, you'd probably know they're absolutely insane, insufferable, and literally rabid. It's like the second you become an army, you get zombified out of a moral conscience in the name of BTS. That is obviously not every army, but the reasonable ones could probably understand my point here. I will never be able to associate myself with that group of people. And that's the main reason why I will never ever stan BTS, and I've never ever tried to get into them. If you've seen any video I made, you'd probably know this was coming. I have my issues with stunning minors, but this is just so stupid in my opinion. Why the hell does this group need a 13-year-old in it? Send her to middle school. She could be an idol in 3 or 4 years all the same. I already know the reason, and that's obviously because YG thinks she could be the second coming of Lisa. And that's also so wrong to put on that girl. K-pop idols should try to carve out their own identity and space in the industry, instead of trying to live up to someone else's legacy. This aside, the entire group with the exception of 1 member are underage. For some reason, and I just think stunning a bunch of kids is something I feel like I should not be supporting. When labels debut groups full of minors and they succeed more than groups with adults in them, it just further pushes labels to debut more children, and creates a reality where 22-year-olds are considered too old to debut and are ticked off survival shows for it. Like, that's a legitimate reason to kick someone off now. And 30-year-olds are called hags and grandmas and should retire when their age is literally 30 is retirement age now. And back to Baby Monster, how is it legitimate that a group full of minors was performing a song full of sexual innuendos with like that? And I saw none of the accountability necessary to protect these girls in the industry from their fans or general stans. You guys do it for Nugents and leeseo. Please do it for Baby Monster too. YG is literally known to be full of creeps. A song like that performed by Baby Monster is not okay. Look at the choreo, listen to the lyrics, like read them. You know that's not something a girl in middle school should be singing. Regardless, this group is now the 3rd iteration of the exact same concept and sound from YG after 20 whole years. And they've been feeding us the exact same stuff, and I think it's time that we as consumers start actually expecting more from YG. They need to evolve to survive and stop doing the bare minimum. They weren't even hiding Baby Monster being a successor to Blackpink and have implied heejin is the next Jennie. And Chiquita is the next Lisa, which is absolutely lazy marketing and even lazier in every creative aspect. If this group isn't going to give us something new, why should I spend time on them when Blackpink is doing the exact same thing, but the members are adults and have way more it factor to them? I don't see anything unique to Baby Monster, and I don't feel morally cool supporting a group full of children. This is something I have talked about in my tier lists video, but I would like to expand on it. Ateez is very popular within the boy group niche, and I'm aware of the fact that the members are extremely talented. But unless they completely change their style, I don't see myself ever standing them. The boy group industry is saturated with noisy boy groups, and to an unassuming listener, I am convinced they would all sound the same. You'll think Illit Nugent's thing is a severe case of sing-songism, but wait till you listen to Stray Kids, ateez, NCT, Psychers, and P1 Harmony in the car on low volume, and try to distinguish who the fuck is that, only to realize it's actually none of the above. It's actually Gravity. The industry is full of noise music that sounds the same, and boy groups aren't making any effort to diversify, unless it's Nugent Skate, which is also starting to blend together in my head. ateez is just another instance of this, but what I would say makes me the least likely to stand them. It's just them being the third most popular within a niche. If I want noisy music, I would simply put on an NCT song. Their sin is simply being as unoriginal as the rest of their peers. And this take is probably going to get me bunked, but as an adult who is busy, I would very much rather not stand a group that doesn't offer me anything unique. Coming from an uncitizen, this is about to sound really hypocritical, but why are there so many girls in that group? I would be down to stand them if they introduced them more slowly and the unit concept they had initially was really working for me, and I got familiar with the girls in the first 2 units or so. Then they kind of threw the idea out of the window in favor of adding members and having a full group come back. To begin with, I wasn't exactly vibing with the way S works because they get lines and center distribution based on NFT sales of each of the members, photo cards or something like that. And I can't even begin to imagine the way that would harm their self-esteems. I would feel so bad having a bias in a group like that because by liking a member, I'm actively hurting another one. I'm not feeling cool with playing God like that, and NFTs are just a horrible thing that harms the environment in the name of stupidity, and it's just giving insulcore to me. So that's like a huge pass for me on this entire mess. If this group just had a bunch of members and they just had units to introduce them, I would actually have no issue with standing them, but coupled with the way sales for each member, the side line distribution, I just don't feel comfortable standing Despite making great music and having likable members, being their fan seems like a nightmare. Imagine you wake up and open social media to check up on your favorite group, and you suddenly see 20 lawsuits, pre-debut drama, there's CEO shaming every other group under the sun, and you have to share a fandom space with people who defend a woman who has pedophilic pictures of children and has given sexual songs to your favorite group that is actually full of minors. I could absolutely never stand them because of that, but I was never a fan even before this mess, because Nugent's being all underage, coming from heejin's label, just feels wrong to me. If I monetarily supported them, I would be encouraging this type of treatment for its minors. heejin has pictures of children naked in her apartment, and previous SM idols have gone on record saying that they were extremely uncomfortable working with her, notably Shinee and NCT Dream, and her concepts were absolutely inappropriate for them. Any group under her label, good music and lineup or not, isn't a group I'd be able to support. I hope the Nugent's girls can find peace after this situation, and they're grooming for heejin, because her manipulating these girls into believing they have a familial relationship while she is their CEO is very much wrong. And she has been working on establishing that familial relationship since some of them were 13 and younger. If that woman truly cared, she'd never make them sing Cookie, never use them as a card against Hybe, while risking their careers in the process and causing them great mental stress. Their music is great, the girls are talented as well, but I refuse to contribute to the way they are treated. They are victims, and their fans denying that and defended their groomer is simply morally corrupt. Consider how heejin was considering kicking Danielle out if the shaman said yes. If you think she cares about these girls in any other way besides the financial egoistic way. I try to give them a listen, but I don't know if it's just me. The decibels on their music hurt my ears. And every time I see them in music shows nowadays, I feel like their music is just blending into itself with every song for the past 2 years kind of sounding the same. They also often have some kind of message in their music. And personally, to me, in most cases, I prefer listening to music that's either personal or genuine to the artists, as if it's a life story or something that actually happened to them, or an offing workers, so I could turn my head up and enjoy the experience. I understand people who don't share this sentiment, but just for me personally, this is how I like to consume my entertainment. I respect them for sticking to a sound and being consistent, but that sound is just kind of not for me. I'm not exactly the biggest rock fan. This video is slightly different from my other videos. Not exactly in content, but I did experiment with voiceover. So let me know how you guys like that. This was due to requests in the comments, so I decided to give it a go. And this is much harder than just making regular videos. So this takes longer and my uploads are less frequent because of this. But it is kind of fun to read out the stuff you're writing, because it just allows me to add more and think more about the stuff I'm writing. So if this was enjoyable to you, please let me know so I can continue to do this. And again, everything I said is just entirely my opinion. I've never claimed to be correct, and if you stand any of these groups, I don't have an inherent issue with you. This is just your choice, and everybody has their personal consideration.